but a name. The law, wait a minute, but a name of law not recognized. There are many places of causation, but nothing escapes the law. The word coincidence comes to mind. Is there such thing as coincidence? No, because nothing escapes the law. Everything is cause and effect. It's just a factor of timing. And that's a whole different issue. We're not even going to get into time, because really time does not exist according to both of these laws. The Hermetists understand the art and the method of rising above an ordinary plane of cause and effect to a certain degree, and by mentally rising to a higher plane, become causes and instead of effects. So I think in here we're talking about manifestation. How are we going to cause something? How are you going to use your energy, your love, your free will to create something, to cause it outside of yourself? Or actually even inside of yourself. Causation could be either. But to cause it, to create it. So that you're not at the will of, at the mercy of your pain. Pain is not using you. You're using it. Does that begin to, again, I'm kind of trailing something I've already introduced. It doesn't have to be pain. It could be the lottery for all I care about. Let's try to manifest that one, right? But at any rate, it's just saying, if you use these principles, you can manifest. And it is my opinion, and by the way, this is one of the things that came out of the work of Miss Cannon, Dolores Cannon. The work was also, came out from bits and pieces of people who were under hypnosis, where their higher self was giving information that was of such high order. And in it, it said that the reason why we're here, over and above, learning the mysteries of love and graduating, being 51% so that we can graduate to the next density, it was to become master manifestors. So that's why we're here. We have had all these lifetimes of piddly work, evolving till we got to this state. And by the way, I don't know, I know that this group is very open-minded and you bring a lot of knowledge, but do you understand the cusp of the changes that are taking place in our little earth right now? The energy of, we're moving from a third density to a fourth density that has already been clocked in on 2012. And my understanding through various channels, including my own, I channel the Council of Saturn, that we are almost approximating fifth density, because evolution, spiritual evolution, has progressed that rapidly. So there has been a real movement, a real sense of inspiration among the human race to really, grab each other at our elbows and say, "Come on, guys! It's now or never. Let's come in and do it." And that was certainly encouraging.
Saturn Council.
Saturn Council of Saturn. Yeah. So the closest thing that we get to cause and effect, again, the way that these two principles have articulated, or to these teachings have articulated the principles, are kind of different from each other. So in the law of one, it's referred to more as karma, but that's kind of cause and effect. So the questioner says, "Thank you, would you define karma?" And Ra says, "I am Ra. Our understanding of karma is that which you may call inertia. Those actions which are put into motion will continue using the ways of balancing until such time as the controlling or higher principle which you may liken unto your breaking or stopping is involved. This stoppage of the inertia of action may be called forgiveness. These two concepts are inseparable. So what are we saying here? We're saying that just the act of forgiving stops that wheel. Stop those dominoes from just falling and falling and falling and falling. And sort of breaks the pattern. That's huge. Just to know that. And forgiveness comes in many levels, forgiving others, but more than anything, how about forgiving yourself? Yes.
I think a big misconception people have with karma is that it's like a reward-punishment system.
Absolutely.
Really, it's you're experiencing a lesson until you learn it.
Absolutely. And that lesson will come back and come back and come back to face you, right? Smack square in the face until you do learn it.
Yeah.
How many times will you have to hit the brick wall until you get it? Yeah. And that's where pain comes in. Because pain is saying, by golly, you didn't learn it. Here it is. Let's look at it. Yeah. I found the term inertia kind of provoking in that particular sentence, in that statement. And it's coming from physics, a property of matter by which it continues in its existing state of rest or uniform motion in a straight line unless the state is changed by an external force. So is this not free will? I'm using my external force or my choice to change that state? The principle of gender. Gender is everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. We all have a feminine and masculine within us. Even the left side and the right side of the brain has its own masculine and feminine within it. One's a reflection of the other. I was not able to find a comparison to the principle of gender in the law of one. The closest that came to even speaking of gender had to do with what they call sexual energy, which is not at all what the Kybalion is referring to as everything having gender. One thing that I will say is that most of the data that I'm finding channeled these days is referring to us becoming very balanced gender-wise. There's not going to be one energy overpowering the other one within the structure of the self. So what is the word that I'm trying to think of, and it's not coming to me? We're going to become more androgynous. That's the word I had at the tip of my tongue. Thank you. We are becoming more androgynous. And I think this is very visible these days in young parents. Have you noticed where the father figure is just as nurturing to the children as the mother? Are we observing these changes as we're moving up in the ranks of energy into our fourth density? Yeah. So these are things to be to observe, and personally, I'm very excited. I think it's a wonderful time to be alive. It's a very challenging time to be alive.
This time right now has been waited for and waited for and celebrated for
thousands of years. How many cultures have talked about the golden age?
Chiseled on stone.
Yeah, chiseled it on stone so we can remember and, refer back to it. So these teachings are saying something to us. They're giving us really, what is it? The golden, what is it? The Holy Grail. There you go. I was like, again, the Holy Grail of how to go about being, about life. And unfortunately, it's right under our nose, but we just kind of, again, resistance comes back to mind. it was, you know, we have this resistance of kind of looking at it. And again, you know, we're seeing some changes. I believe that each and every one of us has had something in our life that has caused us to say, okay, there's something here to be looked at. So I have one more thing that I'd like to do, and as we close this, and where's all my papers? Did you? Oh, thank you. I wanted to close with reading very quickly a poem that I wrote about 2 years ago. Since I was introduced as a poet as well, I figured I'd bring this one. And the title of it is called Today. It says, today I celebrate the joy of inhabiting my soul, the space between infinity and yesterday. Today I cheer to those who have come before me, and to whom I owe the pleasure of engraving their breath. I'm sorry, I'm becoming a little emotional as I think of those who have been before me. And to those who I owe the pleasure of engraving their breath upon my forehead. Today the world stands still as I embrace the sounds of swaying waves, we talked about waves, upon oceans of wisdom in the eternal ebb and flow. Today, as always, love and hate, joy and suffering, fear and trust, those are polarities, hold hands in their ever-present exchange of impressions, contrasting the palette of life's canvas in an attempt to be seen. Today, I celebrate life. Today, the mysteries of the universe become clear to me. They make themselves known through the prism of the mind. Today, I acknowledge that my body is merely a transient tool working in collaboration with infinite intelligence to expand the experience of consciousness. Today, I invite every aspect of my creative will to lift beyond the oppression of limiting beliefs and shout out a resounding yes. Today, I liberate my senses, ushering in the fountain of abundant love in the vastness of now. Today, I celebrate life.